So, clothes advice for the sisters, I have a good amount of because I pretty much got all of the clothes you should not get for the mission. So, take my advice. Your best friend is elastic. Elastic skirts are the best thing you could possibly get for your mission. When I was shopping for my mission, I went to like all of these nice stores like Kohl's and Burlington and everything, and I tried to get like nice pencil skirts and everything. Do not do that. Go to DI or to any random thrift shop and buy the ugliest, most comfortable skirts you can possibly find because you're not going to care about how ugly it is in the mission. I dressed really ugly and people know it, but I didn't care because, I tried to be comfortable. And I was really grateful for the elastic skirts because it is almost guaranteed you're going to gain weight on your mission. I gained a lot of weight on my mission. And I was so grateful for the elastic skirts because I was still able to breathe. Whereas other sisters, they were like struggling to pull up the zippers and everything. Like elastic, best friend by far. And then another thing is just get simple shirts that are comfortable, just like t-shirts that are plain colors and like colors that'll match all your skirts and everything. But just comfortable t-shirts. You need a couple nice, outfits for conferences and everything. But for the most part, when you're on the streets, you just want to be the most comfortable you can be so you can focus on the message. So my favorite shirts were just normal t-shirts like v-necks or scoop necks, whatever, just solid colors, and then you can put colored cardigans with them. And I love that because layers is really, really good for down there because it's super humid. And so in the winter, it's really, really, really cold. And in the summer, it's really, really hot. And so you kind of get both extremes. And so you want to do a lot of layers. And so I would say like cardigans and scarves. Definitely take scarves because I only took 2 and so I had to buy a bunch down there and it took away from a lot of money that I had. And so scarves, cardigans, really comfy skirts. And then for your shoes, my favorite pair of shoes were my Echo shoes. I just got a pair of normal black Mary Jane Echo shoes and they were my favorites. They lasted me my entire mission and I liked them more than my other pair of shoes. I got like these weird clogs that I hated. They were so uncomfortable and I got blisters from them every time I wore them and everyone made fun of me because they were so ugly. So I would say just Echoes are really expensive, but it is so worth it because you're not going to be happy if your feet hurt. And so you're going to be walking so much every day, so get the most comfortable pair of shoes you can possibly get that are going to last forever, because if you need to buy shoes down there, they will not last long, they won't be comfortable, and so you're just going to be miserable. So just get a couple pair of really, really good comfortable shoes. And then one thing I didn't take was one nice pair of flats for conferences, and I regretted that because I didn't want to take my ugly shoes to conferences because you're supposed to look nice when you're in the presence of president, right? And so I was always really embarrassed when I had my ugly shoes, and so I ended up buying a pair of shoes down there, and they were the crappiest pair of shoes I've ever bought in my life, but they were nicer, and so I only wore them for conferences. And so I would definitely say, 2 pairs of really good, comfortable shoes that'll last for forever, and then just one nicer pair of flats that you can wear for conferences, and so you can feel pretty, because the only days I cared about what I looked like was on conference days when I was going to be taking a ton of pictures and seeing all of my old friends and everything. So that's what I would recommend for shoes. And then, everyone has different hairstyles or whatever. Just know your hair and just remember it's going to be humid, so do the best you can with your hair. I would definitely say not to dye it before you go because that's just going to be a hassle, and it's really expensive to do that kind of stuff down there. I only got one haircut while I was down there, but I talked to everybody and they said it was going to be like 50 pesos to get a haircut, but then I found a pair of scissors that was 50 pesos, and so one of the sisters in my apartment actually knew how to cut hair, and so I just bought the scissors and had her cut it for me. But so you got to keep that in mind, like all of the upkeep and everything. But really, for clothes, just make sure it's simple and comfortable because you are representing Christ. You do need to look nice, but you have to be comfortable as well. So just do some nice elastic skirts and just make sure they're long enough so you can, have breeze and everything when it's hot. And definitely take down tights and leggings because in the winter, they're your best friend. And get the thicker kind, not the super thin ones. That are gonna actually keep you warm in the winter. But I forgot to take a pair of pantyhose that were my skin color, and so I needed them for a conference, and the only kind I could find down there were white, and I'm pretty light skinned, but they were even whiter than me, and so it just like completely didn't match, and I was so embarrassed to wear these, and I never wore them again. So just make sure you have a lot of good, you know, like stockings and tights and everything that are gonna keep you warm in the winter. And then your jacket, it just says in the book that they send you just to get a really good like waterproof layered jacket. And I had a companion that got the right kind, and I was so jealous of her the entire time, because if it was cold but not rainy, she would just take the inner layer so it wasn't as bulky, but she was still really warm. And then when it rained, she would just throw on the waterproof outer layer, and then it was perfect for her. And what I was really envious of was that when it was rainy in the summer, when it was really hot, it would like rain for 10-20 minutes, and then the sun would be shining for 2 hours, and then it would rain again. And so you're just hot and humid and sticky and disgusting, and you just feel gross. And so it's really nice to have that kind of a jacket, because it's not a warm jacket, it's just waterproof. So you could have the waterproof jacket on when it rains and then take it off when it's not, and then you're not all sticky and gross like I was the whole time. So I was really envious of her. So just make sure it's really versatile and you can use it for different, you know, instances. And then waterproof boots are super important, because when it rains there, it rains and the streets flood, and it's like a muddy, gross lake through all the streets, because all the streets are like dirt anyways. And so my boots I actually found on sale. They were Echo boots, and they were waterproof, and they were perfect. But I had a bunch of companions that just wore like rain boots that were just nicer and just like not patterned, just black rain boots, and that worked out really well for them too. But just make sure that they're waterproof and that they're warm, because in the winter your feet are going to get so cold. So just make sure that your feet are warm, because then if your feet are uncomfortable, you're going to be uncomfortable the whole day. And one day I didn't wear the right kind of socks, and I was freezing the entire day, and I was shivering the entire day, and it was just a miserable day. And then just beanies to keep your head warm. Just make sure you have everything for cold winters and really hot summers, and then you should be good to go.